Holy cow, that game started quickly. 1 second, guys. I don't think I have ever seen a lobby get filled up this quickly before. Seems like everybody just really wanted to get that last game going. I barely even got a sip of coffee and the next game started right off the bat. But all these guys, it's clear. It's clear to see they're just saying, you know what? Let's go straight into it. They're feeling it. Andy and the guys from Out of War, they're like, oh, let's go, we gotta win, woo, let's keep it going. Just 2 points out of qualifying, woo, let's go. And I'm feeling the same way. You know what, let's just keep it going, let's jump straight into the next one and get right into the action. This plane, as fair as can be, straight west to east. Everyone can go exactly where they want, and hopefully they will, because we've seen so many teams land on top of each other, confront each other. And now we're seeing it again. Kebabs, they're saying, you know what, guys, let's go up and contest knock out gaming up north. That is not something we've seen them do before. So so now they're up here. Punk's not dead. Nope, I don't think so either. Punk music is amazing if you're into that. All music is amazing if you're into that. Only 6 return on the server. Yeah, 62. Seems like 2 guys didn't manage to connect, or maybe they started the lobby so fast that they weren't prepared for it. No, it's probably the latter. I mean, they would never want to start the lobby if people were not ready to play. That's for sure. Ghost, they have made their way into apartments. They're trying to see if they can get something going in there. Oh, vehicle. Ah, wait. There you go. You gotta press those brakes, guys. You gotta make sure the vehicle doesn't get away from you. Slayer of Animals gets himself a knock on towards MFS. So Knockout Gaming. I mean, Knockout Gaming. They've been into a rough set of games here today. Holy headshot. That's a good spray down with the. Okay. Well, you know what? I mean, UMP6X, it's not something you see used too often, but clearly it came in handy. It worked. It worked for him right there. Now the push is coming around the side. Has himself the laser grip attachment on his weapon. That's not even the name for it. Now I can't even remember the name. Laser sight, thank you. On his weapon. Ooh, nades coming out now. This is gonna be dangerous. Knockout Gaming, you made the push so far, but you have to play it ever so smart. You cannot go in and lose players. EFSA goes down, just 1 more remaining. MFS jumps out of the window, and once again, there are only 3 guys on the server, and that might be why they're pushing on this. They know for a fact, if we give them too much room to work around, to do whatever they want, this will be too tough for us to do. They get 1 player knocked, they cannot risk losing one. They're getting a lot of kills off of it, but it's so crucial they don't go down to 2 players this early on. MFS gets taken down. Animal's holding the angle. He's waiting for him. He spots him out too, but he's down to low HP and he gets knocked immediately after. She's just all by himself, but he's doing all the work that he possibly can to take this one home. And spots the last remaining player and he gets him. Wow. And not only does he take out the entire team, he also gets the rest up to his teammate. Holy kebab. That is a that's a clutch right there. I mean, honestly, Kebabs, they were playing this Contenders, and they clearly want to get back in it. I mean, you can question how Knockout Gaming pushed on this, because they got the first knock, they got the first finish off, and they were technically in a 3v3 there, but and got the 2 following, and then they kind of yeah, it's always difficult when you're in a city because there's so many different angles to hold. But if you get 3 kills and you know there's only 1 guy remaining, then like squatting up, go peeking angles together. We've seen so many teams do it really, really well. I'm trying to come up with the example of who was it that made that push. I think it was Riddle a few games back. We actually see him on the screen right here as well, where if you peek and no, it was Ghost Legion. Sorry, Ghost Legion. They made the peek in, and as soon as 1 guy peeks, he might get knocked. That's a trade you're willing to take, but you have to be ready to get the kill in return. And they just were not able to line up that sort of trade frag opportunity at all. And kudos, I mean, honestly, kudos to Sheesh for taking that 1v3, or I guess you can say 1v1v1, but in the end, I mean, 1v3. A very difficult things to do. Fortunately, I guess you can say he had the he had the DP, so he never really had to reload. But it sure as hell worked in his favor. Well done by him, and he didn't have a helmet either. So pretty impressive. Pretty impressive for him to do that. Not something you see done very often, but nonetheless very impressive for sure. T-Bone driving on out. We haven't even seen where we're headed. So they're clearly making their way west. I would assume that's where we're going. Personal courage. They're getting themselves rotated on out as well. It seems like Phosphorus is gonna run back down and say, "Did you forget your vehicle again?" Okay, you know what? I'll bring you this one. Huge potential. They're already up here. They're already doing damage. And once again, it's BSD. It's Fenerbahce under fire early. And sure, I mean, now that nothing really happened off of it other than him taking a few bullets in his direction. But we've seen so many times. I believe that it's actually not completely, but almost all the games, both today and yesterday, that we've seen Fenerbahce lose at least one player on one of the first two rotations. And as we speak of the devil, Kalimdor gets taken down by Denethor. They have had such a rough time with these early rotations, and it could just be those things where you have one or two teams that like to do the same areas that you do. It can just be the death of you if you don't somehow manage to maneuver around them. Go watch those VODbacks, and if you know for a fact what teams it is that are sort of your stumbling points every single early game, you have to go find some way of looking up videos of them and figure what is it that they do that keeps messing it up for us. Go watch your own replays. Where do they go? How do they get there before us? Can we do anything to get there before them? And you gotta counter it. I mean, either just say, you know what, we're gonna give up. We're not gonna go that way anymore. We have to just go around because clearly we keep getting killed there. Or just figure out how in the universe are we that unlucky to lose a player early game all the freaking time, because obviously, there are some aspects of your rotations that are not really working, since majority of other teams can do it and you guys can't. You can see again now, driving up straight through the middle here. They're pinned in between the players from Personal Courage. And now they're, I mean, sure, on a bike, it's not the biggest deal, but when you bring a vehicle into Pachinki Field this early on, it's a clear sign that this was not the route that you intended to take to begin with, because this field, you cannot drive full speed, you start flipping your vehicles. It's not what you want to have happen. But fortunately, seems like the three remaining players from Fenerbahce are able to make it through. Riddle, they're gonna drive up, they're gonna stop, they're gonna scout, as always. Stop, scout, drive, stop, scout, drive, stop, scout, as everyone wants to do. Circle is dead center, and well, I mean, we don't really have to talk so much rotations in from this one, because you can pretty much go wherever you want. I wanted to see where Art of War actually placed themselves out of this one, because that could be kind of interesting to see whether they have gone for a outside of the city position or just on the edge there. Thank you, observers, even though they can't hear what I'm saying. Good job. Nice priority right there. They have taken themselves a it seemed like they were sitting one guy church, three guys over by the garage house. So makes good sense to split it like that. Sometimes you see teams prioritize the west side of the city a bit more, but it makes sense that they want to sit up the way that they did here. Riddle jumping off their vehicles, try to see if they can hold off some rotations coming in. And now from one fight straight into another, airwaves under a lot of fire from Swarm into Riddle, and now Takatori goes down. And well, I mean, not a whole lot more to it when you have so many players shooting at you. It's just a matter of time before you get finished off. And once again, I mean, honestly, 7 players killed in the first 8.5 minutes. And this is a center circle. It's not even because it's a circle where everything is chaos and it's on the far edge. It's a dead center circle, and we've already lost 7 players. That's pretty much the what do you call it? That's pretty much the go-to signal for this group so far. Everything has just been fighting, and now we're going up to Potato Hill, so I cannot even begin to guess how much more fighting will happen very soon. I mean, all these teams will have to make their way in that direction, and it's only gonna get more chaotic. Once you have a game that is pretty much centered on Pachinki, on a Potato Hill early on, you know for a fact there's going to be Pachinki that we see right now. That's a place nobody wants to go to. You're going to have Pachinki Fields on the east side. That's where nobody wants to go. And then you have Potato Hill, which is a big, I mean, it's a hill, and it's a it has a lot of trees there, but it's still rather open. So you can't really put that many teams into it unless if they have to fight off each other. Like, you cannot fit that many teams in without them somehow spotting each other, either from the compounds on the edge or from actually up the mountain itself. So many teams will be forced to fight probably 2, maybe even 3 circles earlier than when they would have actually wanted to. Denethor now trying to make the drive on out. It seems like he's going to be able to get around this side, at least for now. Had it not been for that tree right there, that's the worst time to to drive into something when you have players shooting at you. Seems like he's able to get away though. Got a wheel popped, but he is going down towards his teammates and somehow stays alive through all of that. somehow goes down for all of that. And again, I mean, of course, we had the fight happening in with Cheese and Kebabs and the knockout gaming. So the fact that we lose 7 players early, it's not because it's the biggest wow. Had it just been this one time, it's because it happens time and time again. I mean, had it just been this one, sure, they landed on top of each other. It's not the biggest deal. We see that happening all the time, pretty much. But not all the time, but it happens in all different levels of competitive play. It's only because it's pretty much happened. If you go back and watch the VODs and you look at like the kill count, the team, like players alive count at 10 minutes in this group alone, like over today and yesterday, there's just been so many fights really early on that, well, probably could have been avoided, but that teams willingly decide to take. So I cannot even go against that. It's decision, they make it, they commit to it. That makes sense. It's crazy how it can happen all the time. It's like all these teams, they want to go for the exact same spots, and they're just willing to do everything it takes to get it. And obviously there can only be one victor when 2 teams are squaring off against each other. Sometimes neither of them really win because they start getting third-partied, but it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy to me how all these teams, they manage to continuously fight off one another this early on. Appeal goes down. O'Connell far off in the distance with his 8x scope says, you know what, I have an SLR and I'll make use of it. So he secures himself a kill on towards Appeal. That's going to alleviate a little bit of pressure from Phoenix. He's able to stay put for a little while longer there. Themselves already taking shots at other teams. Denator taken down now as well. So despite the fact that they finally got together, all of them, on huge potential, they are now under fire from multiple different angles. It's extremely hard for them to do anything. Denator gets finished off in the end there as well. And you can see O'Connell looking over the top, trying to see if he can spot anyone on the other side. There's still people in school. Look at the distance he can cover with that 8x scope. Sure, he might not be shooting up in this area, but look at the distance he can cover. New circle about to pop. Where we headed. Kebab still playing it safe from the top, and we are indeed going down towards Potato Hill. So you have the city. We talked about this. You have the city. That's a no-go for the most teams. You have the fields in the middle. You cannot really play from there. And then you have the extremely horrible Potato Hill to fight around. But look at the sneaky plays coming in from a Swarm. Alia jumping around. Might have been hurt with the jumps there. They do make some more sound when you land again. John Woo could be the surprise here. I mean, honestly, Draco coming off of 1 point gathered yesterday. They managed to get 2 second places today. Sure, one of the games was on Johnny Woo right here to sneak his way in, but the other game was them. Of course, they were on the more passive side of the circle, but still, 4 guys alive coming into late game. They had some smart rotations down southwest of or southeast of Gatka. So smart games coming in from them today. Great step up from yesterday's games too. And now John Liu, he's clearly heard Alia out here somewhere. It's just a question of whether he can get the shots connected spots. Oh, shots connected to under half HP. Surprising moment, but John gets spotted immediately in return. T-Toxic around the corner takes down drone transporter, so nice off angle there. Odin is on the side as well. Now Nate is starting to chime on in. They have gotten 1 guy knocked, and they have to watch out this compound. It's gonna be under a lot of pressure very soon. Those nades, well, I mean, they're trying to get them inside the building. Not really working out the way they wanted it to. They want to get back up drone. And this is the thing, the more these 2 teams fight, you can see where they are in the circle right now. They're on the far edge of it. The more these 2 teams start fighting, the trickier it's going to be for all of these teams to make their way on in. It's going to be extremely hard once they try to leave here, because it's so easy for teams to get up and trying to control them. But right now, once again, Toxic under fire. He goes down this time around, gets finished off as well. EFSA taken down by Wizards. There's a fight going on elsewhere. And Swarm, they want to hold them off. Broken gets spotted in the midst of the smokes there. Merritt tries to make the run on back towards the compound. Very, very low on HP. Broken has to have the call in. That has happened. John LaRue gets down 1, but gets taken down in return. So trading 1 for 1 now. Broken all by himself on the south side. And Olin has a chance to take him down, but not going to happen. Broken with double great shots connected right there. And that's going to be Draco Unity completely annihilated. They got themselves the first knock to start things off. 1 was traded in return, but then after that, everything just went in the way or in the favor of Swarm. And they've come out here saying, you know what? They had such a rough patch in the Contenders games, but they've come out here saying we are going to make up for that, and they have been. Yesterday they got themselves the win in game 1. They got themselves a win on game 1 today as well, and that fight right there, even though they got a guy knocked early on, they still managed to make up for it. Really impressively done by Swarm. They tried to contain them inside the house, and every time one tried to peek out the window, tried to get around the side to get a better angle, they were there to take them out. So really impressive. Mise taking out Kebabs there as well. They were trying to contest in South George, and it didn't really work out the way they wanted to. They got themselves 3 kills, but not a whole lot more to it than that, unfortunately for them. Circle goes north. It's out of Pachinki. So the 2 remaining players for Art of War, they need to figure out how the hell they're planning on getting up there. And for last crew here as well, sitting pretty well in it. And this is normally the thing when we get these potato circles. And I say potato circles because it's where on the map we are. Not that it's a potato circle. It doesn't even begin to make sense. But normally we have a high sort of concentration of teams on one side of it, and then you have the other side that's really calm. This time around though, it's pretty well spread all around. The only thing being that the east side is somewhat empty. So for these teams, if they have been following these circles for a little while, then they might know that the east side is where to go. That's also where the only room you really have to rotate. Only issue being then you have to make your way past or through the apartments area where you can still have teams kind of sitting around and waiting. So if you want to rotate out, that's what you want to have happen. But of course, at this point, with Potato being such a big part of the circle and has been for a while, most teams have already ditched their vehicles. It's only really Wizards and Apex that probably have vehicles remaining here to make any rotations off of. T-Bone jumping on the bike here. 2 guys on a bike this late in the game is going to be scary. Eros is already driving on forward. Wants to pick up O'Connell. You see him jumping off now. 3, 2, 1. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. And they're driving east. Thank you, guys, for doing what I'm telling you to. Kind of. No, they're not. Damn it. Wizards, you were told to drive east. But I actually like what they're doing anyway. They know that they're in there, but Menox is waiting on the other side. Nice shooting coming in from him. Important one, too. Trying to sort of put some pressure on him. He's all by himself on the other side of the road, and he needs to continue to land good shots if he wants to have any chance of staying alive. Important first knock coming in, but there's still a lot of more knocks he needs to land if he wants to have a chance here. Andy goes down. Fenerbahce gets himself a kill off that one. Test gets taken down as well. Trico gets down 2 players from Wizards. Important nade coming in there. Misa taken down now as well. All of a sudden, Wizards, despite the fact that they had a nice rotation coming around the side, it's not looking that good for them anymore. Connell all by himself. Minox is trying to get the finish off to secure some points. Savoki is going to get rest up here. O'Connell is going for the rest on the outside. And they do have one more player on the other side. Trico is sitting on the northern side of the road. Could potentially push over, but he wants to have the upper hand. He wants to get the better angle and a chance to help them out should they push from outside. You do not want to cram 3 guys into one house, especially not when nades are as powerful as they are these days. O'Connell from outside making the run over to the next part of the broken wall. They're completely pinned down outside. Neither push comes around from the side. I like what Trico is doing here. He's pushing around far out on the side. Eros goes down. O'Connell is all that's left. They had a good idea trying to cross over and pinning them inside, but that initial knock coming in from Menox was difference maker in all of this. Multiple fights are happening elsewhere on the map, but right now it's all O'Connell trying to hold off what's happening around him, but not gonna happen. Wizards go down in 13th place. Maybe they should have gone east like I told them to. But of course, it's always easy for us to say when we can sit here and see everything. Cobb trying to throw some smokes and nades over towards BenQ5 is all by himself. I believe the last remaining player from Art of War. So they got a win with 14 kills, no, 12 kills make that in the previous game, and now they're trying to see if they can do something similar. But clearly they run out of Pachinki. Hasn't really gotten off to the start that they wanted it to. Manny taken down. That's going to be Airwaves out in 12th. Have had a hard time really getting anything going their way today. And Benny's just proning out. Spots out one player, gets the knock as well, wants to secure the finish up, and there's what he's going to be able to do. Gets spotted out in return, though, and that's going to be Art of War. 11th place for them. We talked about them. They were just 2 points out. Just 2 points out of the top 8. So they will be looking to do some really, really good... do some good games. Have some good games tomorrow if they want to have any chance of making it into the top 8. They're close, but of course they're not in there just yet, so you gotta continue to deliver and play up against all these teams. Phoenix, they're on the western side of the circle. They have this run to make. They do have vehicles available, but of course at this point it's pretty dangerous, especially driving uphill towards Potato with vehicles, because they know there's a lot of players up here. 31 players alive in this area of the map. Top, spotted out, taken down as well. Well connected shots by Ghost. Houston now fighting off against Riddle once again. We see these two teams squaring off against each other. We saw a bit of confrontation earlier between Yorkdale and I believe it was Kofes, but this time around he gets him knocked once more. Ghost, they're chasing Swarm. They saw them, they got themselves one kill off of it, and they want to see if there's any more coming their way. Broken is just running like a madman, trying to get up the hill as the two teams are, well, I mean, now the fight kind of disengaged, so I wonder what Riddle and Swarm are up to. No, Riddle and Personal Courage up to on the other side. Swarm is running. Apex. Sneaky peeky trying to make their way out of the compound, but it's gonna be tricky. That's gonna be good knock coming from Minox. They saw Saki up there. It's a bit of a surprising angle. Him to sit behind the tree still on the other side of the road, and that's an important angle, an important knock coming in too, because that's gonna allow for them to cross over. Really important one, Courage. Now we get back into this fight. Getting down clip. Seems like they've lost a player already. Simpson spotted out while jumping. That's a pretty good connected shots. Nice reaction coming in from Kofest right there. Phosphor is running up. He's running up closer. Swarm gets taken out. Goldby gets himself a double kill there onto the Unbroken. Clip gets finished off. Simpson taken down by Phosphor as well. It's just one player remaining for their team now, and that's going to be Oldale taken out as well. Phosphor. Nice reaction play. 6 kills in total for Personal Courage now as they clear pretty much the entire south side of the circle. Important damage coming in there, and well-connected shots too. Sunk goes down. Goldby eliminated. That's going to be his team out. Died to the blue. Realized there was no more to play for. And well, now Fenerbahce, they lost a player early on. Sunk is knocked as well. Should be able to get the rest on up. But look at this. 2 players remaining for huge potential. And they have pretty much the only compound in the circle now. There's a shack on the east side of the circle. But they are sitting in the granny house. And that is all that's go. It's not a granny house. It's a normal one-story house, Toby. Why are you doing this? It's all that's left in the... all that's left, at least for hardcover, in this circle. See, Faye, Minox, there's still 3 guys alive down there, but what's keeping them from getting inside the circle right now is Phoenix. They're holding this angle. They know that Apex are down there, and they have to make the run on up. But the issue is the more time is spent down here, the more time yeah, you can say the more time they're spending outside the circle, the more time it's allowing for other teams to potentially come around the side and pin them down. Phoenix now probably realizing that they spend too much time trying to hold them, and they have to get further inside the circle themselves too. Unless, of course, if they're just saying, you know, we'll stay here. But right now it's somewhat of a battle of who gets to pin down, who gets to gatekeep the other team. Whatever team comes up the hill first might just be the team that gets into the better position. Vehicles now being used, trying to see if they can get themselves a little jump on him. This is where they just smash the vehicles down to try and, yeah, exactly, hit them into the trees and see if they can get themselves some more cover. Smoke's now being thrown downhill from Personal Courage down towards last crew. They're in a rough spot down there. They're having opponents all around them. Fenerbahce, they've been spotting them. Shots fired, but no knocks coming in just yet. PSD gets one, gets down the second one as well. 2 knocks coming in. Kofest has the angle on towards one on the other side. That's Sunk on the hill. Nade's coming in as well, though, and now multiple teams are engaging in this. BSD taking down the 3rd player. That could be a 1v4 for him. Shaxi gets one down as well, and that's going to be all of Personal Courage taken down. Fenerbahce, welcome to the mix here. We've been missing you, and despite the fact that you lost Calendar early, you're still able to put up a fight, and that's the thing. You can never underestimate your opponents in these lobbies. Even though a team might seem weak, even though a team comes off to a rough start, you have a team in Draco, just 1 point yesterday. You might just want to go into them with full confidence, but they got themselves 2 second places today. And then you have Fenerbahce. They just pulled off a good 3v4 fight right there. Didn't lose a single player in doing so. So extremely well played by the Turkish team as they try to make their way further forward towards the circle. Sunk running on down. Wants to get into a better spot. Chappie taken down immediately. Shaxi once again. They're shooting, they're fighting. And last crew is going to be the next team to try and prevent them access towards these final few circles. Moki is running around the side. This could be a good flank opportunity. Bulin gets down one. Moki almost gets down the second, but in the end, that's going to be the full spray down. Bulin gets down the 1 player from this side. But Dickery and Moki takes down the last 2. Well played. And, well, I mean, I guess off of that, they get the benefit of the circle. But Minox, he heard the shots fired. He knew what was going on up there. And he wants to have a chance at third partying. He gets down 1. But question is going to be for him to see whether they want to engage on this or not. There are only 2 players alive on their team. He could potentially peek on over the top. That's the issue with the plateau they're sitting on. It's so easy for teams to look up over the hilltop. Faye has actually pushed all the way up. Wants to get the flush on towards AK skills as well. That's going to happen. Gets down the second one. Just 1 player remaining now. Jappy trying to hold it off all by himself. Faye is trying to get himself some points. Not gonna happen immediately. Minox needs to come in and help him out. Needs to wait for him to push around the side. He has his teammates safe behind the wall. Doesn't need to do anything, but Jappy 1v2 pulls it off and takes down Apex. Down they go in 4th place. And off of that, he might just be able to get the rest up on towards Mocha as well. And there are no opponents nearby to take them out. What an insane play from Jappy. No vest, no helmet, and still manages to pull it off. Holy cow, what a clutch play coming in from him. Apex, last crew, I mean, sorry, they're sitting somewhat down the list. Same thing for Apex. So for both these teams, that would have been a very important fight to win. But Jappy, what a hell of a 1v2 pulled off right there. Phoenix now, they're like, okay, so Apex, they tried to do this. That didn't work. Should we try to do the same thing, or should we just wait here until they come down the hill? Clearly just getting boosted up, waiting, and then waiting a little longer to see where that final circle will take them. They know they're up there. They're just waiting. They have nades available as well. They don't want to over-aggress, though. They know there are 3 guys up. Do not risk anything. You don't have the info. You could be peeking straight into a snake. Ooh, does he speak one jump? Does he see him? Does he see him? Yes, he does. Smokey goes down immediately. Gets flushed pretty much right off the bat there, too. But only a flush. That means there are more people up here. Jappy is hiding on the tree. Focus now, prone once more. No nades available for him. He's holding the angle. Trying to make the run on up. Now he disengages. It is only smokes, but of course you don't know that if you can't see what's being thrown. So, respecting your opponent. You don't know if it's 1 or 2 players sitting up here. Jappy though, all by himself. Monks and Zerong, they've been in here for a while. He's trying to spray through the smoke now. No shots connected, obviously, as he's up on the top of the hill. And this is actually where I would love to see for huge potential to push out. Oh no, because they just got the circle. I would not love to see them push out. They actually have left the house. I love that. They have left the house. Leave the house. Do not allow for the opponents to pin you down inside the house. Whoever wins this fight could easily pin them down. And I love to see that they're actually pushing out of it. So even though they get the circle that sort of lets them stay in, they're now taking full center control in Zerong, and they're letting for Moon to go around the side. Really smart positioning. They don't want a third party. That's fair. I can respect that. But they are doing everything they can to get the full circle control, because right now they know where all the remaining players are, and they can do everything to contain them. And now Phoenix, they have to figure, do we really want to chase Jappy here, or do we want to turn around and try and see if we can get the last one? Bullet spots him out, though. That's just going to be 1 more bullet needed. Jappy might just want to run out into the blue, because that's not going to be him surviving this one. Bullet takes him down, and that's going to be the 4th kill, maybe the 5th kill for his team. And last crew out in 3rd, and now Moon and Zerong. Zerong, we talked about him yesterday. He was on the top of the damage leaderboards. He had so much damage done with the Mini 14, and they need to pull off something here again. AUG 6x spray, a bit too much for Moon to handle there. They need some either some good vert sense or vertical sensitivity, or a hell of a big mouse pad if you want to control the 6x spray. See him, he has spotted the opponents uphill. He has level 3 gear to use. Swaps over to the mini, spots one running. Of course the smoke is there. Ooh, the timing now, he spots him into the next smoke he goes though. Full on spray coming in. Pretty good control, not gonna lie. Pretty well controlled there by Moon. You gotta drag that mouse down ever so carefully. Zerong, that's a nade. Not a nade, that's a headshot coming in. They have pinned him down to his position, and well, I mean, honestly, they're playing it smart, Phoenix. They're not over-aggressing. They know they're 3v2. They're not doing anything too crazy here. They're just sitting 2 guys together, keeping Hoke up on the top to hold off the angle in Moon, and they cannot give up on Moon. They cannot let him push around. You see how he's pushing over the top right now? They're all full on committed to Zerong. If they get him down quickly here, I mean, Zerong is buying himself so much time. If Moon can get over the top, this is dead bait for Phoenix, because they're all running downhill in the open, and he actually spots out 1-2. What an insane spray coming in from Moon, and Zerong gets the second 1-2. The fact that he can control this 6x spray at that distance is absolutely insane. And last player, and they get them 2v3. Wow, I just talked about them playing it passive and not over aggressing, but Phoenix